Do you think NASCAR should be able to force teams to race at tracks they don't want to go to? Do you think a fun, fan-friendly racing series should get shut down because it's too competitive? And do you think the best drivers should always get the best rides, or should money and sponsorship matter more? These aren't hypothetical questions anymore, folks. These are real issues being debated in federal court right now, and the answers could change NASCAR forever.
Ryan Blaney has won his way into the championship.
A great day for Kyle Larson.
Seventh career win in his 100th.
Joey Logano takes the checkered flag. Hell yeah, boy!
First up, we need to talk about some massive driver moves that just got announced. Rajah Caruth is officially locked in his 2026 Xfinity Series schedule, and folks, this kid is going full-time. He'll be running 10 races in the Jordan Anderson Racing number 32, and the other races presumably in the JR Motorsports 88. Now, if you've been following Rajah's journey, you know this is absolutely huge for him. Think back to last season in the Truck Series, this dude was a cut tire at Martinsville, away from racing for a championship. A cut tire! That's how close he came to being in the championship for. Now, he's getting his shot in Xfinity equipment, and here's where it gets interesting. Jordan Anderson Racing is forming a closer alliance with Richard Childress Racing next year, and that means better equipment, better resources, better everything. You know what this reminds me of? Ross Chastain was back in 2018. That year, Ross was wheeling a JD Motorsports car way better than it had any business running. But then he got some spot starts and Ganassi equipment, won a race, and made the playoffs despite racing for two different teams all season. For 3 straight years, Chastain finished top 15 in Xfinity points driving for JD Motorsports. Let me repeat that, JD Motorsports equipment. That's absolutely insane when you think about it. Rajah could pull off something similar. The 88 car dominated in 2025, and Marty Lindley is staying on as crew chief. The pressure is definitely on Rajah next year. We're not just talking about 1 or 2 wins here. If he's in that number 88 car with Lindley calling the shots, he needs to be winning multiple races. But wait, there's more. Anthony Alfredo just announced he's moving to Viking Motorsports. He'll be driving the number 96, which becomes Viking's second full-time Chevrolet. And you guys, the middle of the Xfinity field next year is going to be absolutely stacked. Jordan Anderson is running 3 full-time cars now, Viking is 2, Sam Hunt added a second car, Young's Motorsports added a second car. Even the 87 is going full-time with Austin Green behind the wheel, and they've got an RCR alliance too. We almost need separate championship categories for Xfinity at this point. You've got your super teams with cup alliances. JR Motorsports, Joe Gibbs Racing, Stewart Haas, RCR. Then you've got teams with Lee's Motors and partnerships like Day GM, Viking and Jordan Anderson. And then you've got your true independents like the Cope family and Alpha Prime. The depth in this series next year is going to be wild. Now, let's switch gears to the Truck Series because we've got some bombshells there too. Colosseum Racing just revealed the numbers for their 5-truck operation next year. Daniel Dye is in the number 10, Brendan Quinn in the 12, Justin Haley in the 16, and here is where it gets mysterious. The 14 is top secret, likely connected to that reality TV show they've been filming. Dana White from UFC was spotted wearing a Ram Colosseum shirt recently. Make of that what you will. And the 25? That's the free agent truck with Tony Stewart and KZ Khan, rumors swirling around. But the real headline? Caden Honeycutt is going to Tricon Garage to drive the number 11 Tundra in 2026. This is your new Truck Series championship favorite, folks. The reigning Snowball Derby winner announces his move to a championship team during Snowball Derby week. You can't write this stuff better. And here's the kicker, Scott Zipadelli is staying on as crew chief. That means the 11 truck is going to be an absolute rocket ship. We have seen what Honeycutt can do with lesser equipment in Nace Motorsports. The dude is fast, seriously fast. Sometimes he gets a little over-aggressive, like cutting guys' tires at Martinsville, but the raw speed is undeniable. Now, is it fair to expect Honeycutt to match what Corey Haim did last year? Probably not. Haim won 12 races and led 1,600 laps. That was a record-setting, legendary season. He had 3+ years building chemistry with Zipadelli and that team. If Caden Honeycutt doesn't win at least 4, 5, or 6 races next year, it's a disappointment. That's a lot of pressure, but he's in the best truck with the best crew chief. He should win, and win a lot. The competition is fierce though. Christian X is moving back to trucks with Haley Deegan's team. You've got the Ram trucks with Quinn and Haley, front row has Lane Riggs and Chandler Smith. Veterans like Grant Einfinger, Ty Majeski, Daniel Hemrick, and Ben Rhodes are still out there grinding. The trucks get rough and physical. Can Honeycutt keep his cool? We're about to find out. Here's what bugs me though. What is Corey Heim doing next year? Tricon posted what looks like a complete farewell. It doesn't sound like he's coming back, even part-time. Sam Hunt already has 2 full-time drivers. 2311 is fighting for its life in court right now, so where does the most dominant Truck Series driver in recent memory end up? If NASCAR were purely merit-based like other sports, Heim would have a top Xfinity or Cup ride locked up, but that's not how racing works, unfortunately. Alright, now we need to talk about what went down in federal court yesterday because this is where things get really interesting. NASCAR President Steve O'Donnell took the witness stand, and based on everything, he did a significantly better job defending NASCAR's position than anyone else we have heard from this week. A lot of the questioning focused on the superstar racing experience, SRX. O'Donnell testified that when Tony Stewart was first putting SRX together, Stewart Haas Racing assured NASCAR it wouldn't look anything like NASCAR racing. But then what happened? After year 1, year 2, and year 3, the active Cup Series drivers started participating. The schedule started mirroring NASCAR's schedule. O'Donnell said that when he saw Chase Elliott running the Napa No. 9 paint scheme in an SRX race, NASCAR began to seriously worry that SRS looked too similar to their product. But here's the thing, we also understand NASCAR's perspective that SRX was becoming real competition. The ratings were rivaling Xfinity and Truck Series races. O'Donnell testified that Sam Flood from NBC actually had a meeting with him to ask what NBC was paying for. If a competitor could just show up with another series that looks exactly like NASCAR, that's a legitimate business concern. Remember yesterday, we talked about how NASCAR declined Speedway Motorsports' request to host an SRX event? That is probably why. O'Donnell said it was to protect their TV negotiations in 2023 when those talks were heating up. And look, those TV deals fund the vast majority of this industry. The TV money is everything. O'Donnell was also grilled about the 3 strikes rule that NASCAR removed from the newest charter agreement. Under the old deal, teams had the right to refuse any proposed rule changes that would increase their costs. If they rejected a proposal 3 times, NASCAR couldn't keep bringing it back, but NASCAR took that out of the 2025 agreement. Why? According to O'Donnell, teams kept using it to avoid going to new tracks. He specifically mentioned Mexico City and the Chicago street race. O'Donnell testified that if teams could vote on these races, they would never have happened, and the media rights deals wouldn't have been as big. He claims those races were critical to landing Amazon and Turner Sports as broadcast partners. If there is hard evidence that Chicago and Mexico City directly helped land Amazon, then O'Donnell makes a compelling case. Even though teams should get a say in major decisions like racing in other countries. Things got awkward though when O'Donnell was pressed about old text messages he sent that appeared to be critical of NASCAR's board of directors, specifically Jim France's leadership style. In one message, O'Donnell referenced a dictator. In another, he wrote that NASCAR's board of directors is difficult and that their legacy mindset hinders growth. While O'Donnell admitted Jim France wasn't interested in changing the business model, he refused to admit that France was who he was directly referring to in those messages. Talk about squirming under pressure. But here's the reality check. This morning, the judge told NASCAR that growing the sport is just another way of saying increasing NASCAR's revenues. And that's not a good legal defense. So, who knows how effective O'Donnell's testimony actually was? Who do you think will win? What's your take on O'Donnell's testimony? Let me know. If you enjoyed this breakdown, give this video a like, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the off-season action.